Cancer. I hope you guys are having a great week. I don't know what the date will be when this video goes up, but videos drop every Wednesday if you don't know that already. Hit that notification bell. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I'm not really sure what you're waiting for, so you might as well go ahead and do that right now. Like literally do that right now. Go ahead and pause, then subscribe, and then come back. So it's been on my mind to talk about, I don't really wear glasses, y'all, but I like these specs and I tend to put them on when my brain doesn't feel the most efficient, and you know, hopefully it sparks a little bit of motivation, and I just like the way that they look. So anyway, I wanted to hop on today, and it's been on my heart to talk a little bit about how to support your friends and your family when they're going through a health crisis such as cancer. Now, I've done a video on losing friends during my breast cancer journey, but I realized that I never actually edited or uploaded that video, and I'm not really sure why. But I think one day I eventually will. Has nothing to do with not putting it out there, but I don't know, for some reason I just never edited that video and I just never put it up. So this past weekend, I remember, you know, just kind of scrolling through social media, and it came up that some people have been made to feel like, I'm in a few groups that is related to breast cancer, and some women were posting on how they've been made to feel by their friends and their loved ones that they're not allowed to be weak. They're not allowed to cry. You know, dare I, you know, show my emotions and that I'm scared or that I'm not really sure how I feel. And it's like, well, you need to get it together and you need to be strong, because if you're not strong, then what are we going to do? If I'm not strong, what are you going to do? You're not the one with cancer. That was like the first thought that came to my mind. But then I also understand, I do understand wholeheartedly that as human beings, we're selfish creatures naturally. So it makes sense that most people, many people will have that thought process. But we need to be very mindful that because it's not a fair thought process to have, what that does to the person who is going through cancer. And this is not just related to friends and family who are going through any kind of cancer. This could be related to if you have a friend who suffers from sickle cell, which is another ailment that a lot of people don't really understand, and it is a lot. It is a lot. Like my friends, my loved ones who have sickle cell, they go through a lot all the time. Whether it's lupus, you know, whatever it may be, these pointers that I'm about to share are important for you to please keep in mind when you are trying to be appropriately supportive of that friend or family member. Okay, so first what I need you to do is I need you to process your own feelings. And the reason that I say that is because you have a right to be afraid too. You may not be the person who's going through cancer, lupus, sickle cell, whatever, but you're scared. You know, whether you're a parent, whether you're a best friend, whether you're a colleague, you're scared that you may lose that person. So it's okay to process your emotions first and kind of just sit there and say, how do I feel about this information, knowing that my friend, you know, my family just told me that they're sick and there might be a possibility that they won't be in my life if treatment doesn't go well, or if their body doesn't respond to the treatment process. And again, you have every right to feel that way. Where most people go wrong is imposing that fear on the person who's already afraid that they won't make it. And that is what you need to be careful with. So processing those feelings, and it's okay to tell your friend, you know, I'm scared, you know, and I want to be here from you, but I'm also scared. But timing plays a role, because if your friend or your family member is literally in tears on a bathroom floor, sick from chemo, you can't swoop in and then just say, I'm so scared you're going to die. Don't do that. The next thing that you can do, and I really think is important for you to do, is learn about their diagnosis. Learn about the type of cancer that they have. Learn about what stage they are. Learn about the treatment that they're going to get. Now, I at least don't expect you to know the ins and outs. The person who's going through treatment doesn't even understand, for the most part, 100% of everything that's on their pathology report and all the jargon that the doctors are using. But it is very helpful if you can come out and be able to say, I know you're stage 2, I know you're going to have chemo for 24 weeks, I know you're going to at least have a bilateral mastectomy, and I'm here for you. It's important for you to be able to ask that question. So the doctor said you're having a bilateral mastectomy. When is your surgery? Be able to regurgitate some of that information, and what that does is it shows that you are interested in their present moment, and you're not just waiting for them to be in recovery so you can move on with life, so that they can move on with life. Because that kind of gives the impression that all of this right now doesn't matter. I just need you to get well so we can go back to the way things were. And also keeping in mind that their life will never be the same. So you focusing on rushing through the treatment process and the diagnostic process just so that they can, you can go back to the way things were. That's how some people actually lose friendships, because the person who goes through that health crisis, their life is never the same, and you have to keep that in mind. Their perspective on life is different. The way they're going to move is different. The way they may even talk, their outlook, how they respond to things, it's going to be a little bit different. And you've got to be, as a good friend, you want to be prepared for that. And the only way to be prepared for that is to be present with them in that moment, working through the journey, versus having no clue what's going on with them because you're just waiting for it to be over. The next thing is also really huge. Do not assume. Don't assume that because this random Friday they look okay, that mentally, physically, and spiritually they're okay. Please do not equate the two. To be supportive of your friend, your family, don't assume. Ask questions. How are you feeling today? I can have on my lipstick. I mean, when I was going through chemo, there were women who, got on their heels, their lipstick. I would have my eyebrows done to the T. Every time I walked in, someone was like, girl, your eyebrows are on fire. But I still felt like sugar honey iced tea. So don't make the assumption that because we're walking around with a smile on our face that we're feeling okay. Just don't assume. The next one, you want to laugh together, but you also want to allow for sadness. So like I said in the beginning of this video, a lot of people who go through cancer are made to feel like they have to be strong all the time. How dare I have a breakdown? Because if you have a breakdown, how am I supposed to feel? Again, you're not the one told that if you don't go through this treatment, you might die, or if it might not work, and blah, blah, blah. So that's selfish, and again, you've got to be mindful of that. So, I mean, I don't really know how else to put it other than you've got to allow for sadness. We're not robots. Your loved one who's going through sickle cell and who is also always going through pain that it literally is deep to their bones, they're not robots. We've got to allow for sadness and stop dehumanizing people because you're afraid of their sadness. The next thing, which is really, really great, is helping them to make plans. And I don't necessarily mean like helping them pick up medication, cooking for them. I mean, helping create events or just moments for them to look forward to. One of the things that my nurse navigator always said to me, and my general surgeon always said that's helpful when going through a journey like this, is you always want to have something to look forward to. So whether that's trips or going out with friends, and of course there's limitations because of your immune system, but having something to look forward to really does help. So just, whether it's if you know that 4 days after chemo, they feel a little bit better than they do on day 1, be that friend that says, all right, popcorn and movie on Friday. It gives us something to look forward to. It gives your loved one a moment to say, all right, as I feel like, again, sugar honey iced tea, but we're going to have movies and popcorn on Friday, and it can boost our motivation. creating something for us to look forward to is such a great way to be supportive of your friend or your family, whoever, who is going through cancer. The last and final thing, are you ready? Never, ever, never, ever, ever, ever compare your friend or your loved one's journey to that of someone else's. Never tell them you have the worst cancer. Never tell them, like ever tell them, but you have the good cancer. Telling someone they have the worst cancer is you telling them in a roundabout way, you're probably going to die. And guess what? Even though the survival rate might be low, there are people who survive it. Telling your friend that they have the better cancer is you telling them that their cancer doesn't really mean ish. And guess what? Even though it may have a higher survival rate, people still die. So guys, don't ever, ever, ever use those words. Now, we all make mistakes, and I understand that. But please think before you speak. Never compare your friend, your loved one, your family member, your colleague's journey to that of someone else, because no two cancer journeys are ever the same. That's all I want to talk to you guys about. That's it, nothing else. Stay wild, guys. If you want to appropriately support your friends, that is the way to go about it. Now, of course, there's a bunch of other ways too, but those are the ones that I could think of today. So, like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Till next time.